Welcome back, everybody, to WCS America Premier League Round of 32 Group F. It feels like yesterday we said Group A, but it's been going so fast, and even with Red Bull in between and all the events that we've been doing, WCS America Round of 32 so far has been an absolute pleasure. It's been my favorite season. I've said it many times already, and I haven't said that every single season, so it's not like I always do that. It's the cliche. This season has been fun. Our Round of 16 looks super awesome already, and it doesn't matter who makes it out of today's group because both players, both two names, Nate, it's going to be awesome to have them. And our next series is going to be the ZvZ between TooDming and Scarlett. That's a rematch, and of course you guys may have seen, you may have been lurking Reddit, and a while ago there was a beautiful surround of TooDming, a 360-degree road surround that was in WCS America, that was against Scarlett. So this is a rematch. Back then TooDming was able to upset Scarlett, I think it's safe to say. Yeah. That was a surprise.
I would say TooDming hadn't really fully come, I think, into his own as far as playing in WCS America goes. A lot of people are like, well, we know there's some good Chinese players, Jim, Max said, but who is TooDming Rotterdam? I think a lot of people have gotten a good idea. He's also a guy that has very high-level sense of fashion when he comes to plays in the live events.
TooDming is a super cool Chinese dude who speaks quite a bit of English as well. Tries to, and he even went to Battlegrounds Atlanta, where he's spending a lot of time with Henderlisk and Suppy. He's a very likable guy. Either way, someone who's also very likable is of course our very own Acer's Scarlett. Scarlett, who is currently in Korea still. Saw a couple of pictures of her attending the Pro League finals. I was kind of jealous of those pictures. I like, damn. That's one StarCraft 2 event that I would love to be part of as well. Even if it's just a fan, even if it's me in the crowd with my thunder sticks, cheering for Rain, who of course did win.
I'm currently working on getting a time machine so I can go back and watch that live. Because
you know,
there's so much StarCraft going on, we couldn't get there.
Actually, it's kind of good that I wasn't there because I would have probably lost my voice, like screaming as a little fangirl for Rain for 2 weeks straight, and then he won. And then I wouldn't be able to cast anything for 2 weeks after that, Nate.
I wouldn't be able to. I would have gotten into a fight over whoever caught the ball that Flash kicked over the audience.
Yeah, Nate would be like this American dude.
I would have been like, I want that, man. You ever go to a Major League Baseball game? What people do to catch a ball in the stands?
Either way, over here on the right bottom side of the map, we have our Chinese Zerg, Zenith of Origins TooDming, who's had a very successful WCS year so far. Made it to the round of 16 twice. He was with us when we did the Season 1 finals in Cologne. He was with us at Season 2 finals over here in our brand new studio in Southern California in Burbank. So overall, he's had a good run. Scarlett's had a pretty good 2014, I would say, Nate. He's really been looking extremely strong lately. Previous year, Scarlett was always one of the best foreigners, and I think this year there is like no discussion at all that she is the best North American. Yeah, in Europe we have Vortex, we have Snoot, and recently I think you can even include Bunny in that group. But Scarlett is definitely up there with those amazing players, and she's had a good year. But WCS, it's not been her best year yet.
No, hasn't really had a crazy amount of success, but she's finally made it back into Premier League. After losing his ZvZ to get knocked out of last season. So it's good to have her here. It's good to see Scarlett playing again in Premier League. This is where she belongs. And nice tweet from the last series. It's Mia here. Secret bases should happen more often. Seriously, it excites me. Secret bases excite me too, Rotterdam.
Yeah.
Especially when they're hidden command centers.
I know, especially if it's a Friday night and you're like just playing some ladder and it's like there's a secret base.
It's a secret there. It's like,
where's this going? I wonder.
How forward of you.
Scarlett is started to mine some gas. We've seen quite a bit of Scarlett, her ZvZ, and we know that she loves to 9-pool on maps like Overgrove, on smaller maps, even on the merry-go-round, I'd say. Nim is of course a very large map, and speed openings are pretty popular here. There are a couple of cheeses on this map that we've seen quite often, especially the 10-pool speed.
We've seen a lot of cheese in ZvZ in the last couple days. We have seen a lot of cheese, Roddy.
So far this has actually been a surprisingly passive ZvZ between these two. I'm surprised that neither player has opted to go for some quick speed, or at least try to make something happen early on. As we have another tweet, so many tweets. I actually kind of want to focus on the game now, Nate. As much as I'm going to give a shout out to DJ Helim as well, as he's an awesome avid member of our community.
He's a professional #WCS tweeter.
Exactly, he is. He's a great dude. But if we keep talking about tweets, I'm going to miss the most important thing about this game. That is the actual game.
The fast layer. So let's talk a little about this, because Scarlett is one of the few players that this evolution chamber and this Roachhorn kind of says standard play, but Scarlett is a player that's not afraid to deviate a little bit from what you typically expect in this matchup.
Interesting. We see double evolution chamber going down for TooDming. He's spreading them all over the place, so I guess he's gonna drop his roach one soon as well. Unless it's just like, unless he's taking a nude out of the plays that we've seen over the last few days, as Dongray, Gu, and Solar like to go for the melee carapace upgrade. But yeah, actually he's going to do it. Okay.
This is the opener I would have expected from Scarlett.
Yep.
I would have expected like a flip-flop here. Although I do still agree with the fast third base for TooDming, because TooDming has shown if there's one thing he likes to do in WCS, it's take lots of bases very quickly.
Yep, TooDming has been the guy that went up to 5 bases at the 9-minute and 40-second mark, and if you wonder how's that even possible, I actually have no logical explanation for it, but he did do it. 9 minutes and 40 seconds, TooDming was mining off 5 bases.
If he plays versus Seed, you guys are going to be, your minds are going to get blown.
Alright, so a lot of Zerglings are on the way for him. Scarlett, of course, she is getting her Roach upgrades running. Her third base is going to be a little later. So far, absolutely nothing has died yet in this game, other than one set of Zerglings. And the Baneling Nest is going down for TooDming as well. Okay.
I mean, in regular straight-up engagements, we've seen the mass link play, especially with 1-1, be incredibly effective. And I would say typically that if you can get your roaches in a good choke point, it's hard to break those positions. But if Scarlett moves her roaches out towards her third base, if she's in an open area, if she tries to poke TooDming's third, I think if you surround a bunch of roaches with 1-1 Zerglings, you're going to annihilate
It's going to be
them.
tricky, because this is a very wide open area. If Scarlett holds her roaches on the ramp, obviously she will never die against Zerglings. However, the roaches on the ramp will not protect this base. It's a little further away. So TooDming, he is producing nothing but Zerglings. He wants to go all out, Nate. He's already down 11 workers. So that means, TooDming, you're going to have to make magic happen over here. Scarlett is still unaware of this. Oh my god, she can lose all these roaches. Scarlett can actually end up losing all these roaches. Speed is about to finish up. And this is exactly what TooDming wants.
Now, TooDming needs 15 more seconds before his 1-1 is done. But he will be able to get the surround. So these roaches with the +1 upgrades are actually going to trade really effectively, even though there's a superior Zergling count. Look how fast these things are dying without those upgrades.
Actually, it's like the biggest anti-timing ever for TooDming. If this happens a few seconds later, then I think he's going to be able to crush this with no problems at all. Now he's actually losing quite a few Zerglings. He did clean up the majority of the roaches. Will these roaches be able to make it home in time? I'm afraid not. They're really important. Scarlett right now is... Oh, so smart. So smart.
Well, those Zerglings are just going to be like, yeah, you guys can chill there. I'm going to go kill your base.
Yeah, I'm not sure though. I think that TooDming has already lost so many links. He lost so many more links than he would have lost initially. Now he does have the 1-1 upgrades though. You can immediately see what kind of a difference it makes. But I think Scarlett might be able to hang in there, right, Nate? Well, it's... Yeah, she should be fine.
TooDming is making it work. He's rallying so many more Zerglings across map. He is just going ham, non-stop.
Streams up the ramp now.
And he's in. He's got the surround on all of these forces. I'm really blown away that Scarlett's attack killed so many Zerglings, and TooDming is still... I think he's going to be able to make it work. He should be able to at least kill some drones before the rest of the roaches come out and stop him.
You can really see that Scarlett is trying to put her roaches in the best position possible wherever she can, trying to limit the surface area that these Zerglings will have. And Scarlett is still up in supply. Even if she ends up losing a few drones, that is not the end of the world. But Scarlett cannot afford to lose a hatchery. That would be bad.
Yeah, TooDming still... It's actually crazy how many Zerglings he's still making, because I want to say that he's going to get the damage he needs in, but... His lair is later, his other upgrades are later. However,
it's so bizarre.
He's losing a lot less, he's trading his resources very efficiently.
Yep, a few more Zerglings are streaming up this ramp, but Scarlett will almost be able to defend the ramp. But I think with a few more roaches that are about to pop, I think she is going to be out of the woods for now. The minimap still shows us nothing but Zerglings running up, but TooDming's supply is still going down. He still has 37 Zerglings. If he can get this hatch, then I think that he can be satisfied, but he needs to get... He needs to get the hatch.
You know what? Scarlett's +2 attack is about to finish on these roaches, and that means they're going to go back to two-shotting the Zerglings.
What a bizarre game. This group is actually nuts.
I think this should signal the end of TooDming's aggression. Like, these roaches are gonna
Yeah, he should go for the hatch. He should really go for the hatch and then just let it go. No, you can't fight these roaches anymore. It's too many, right? This is a few too many roaches.
With these upgrades, like, look how fast these Zerglings die. It's no contest at this point.
TooDming has 1,000 minerals in the bank as well. I'm not sure if he has the gas to spend. He did squeeze in a layer. I actually never saw that layer, but his roach upgrade, his roach speed is halfway done. The work account shows us 46 against 41. Scarlett has, of course, a way more roach, 21 roaches. That should almost be a game-ending amount of roaches.
I don't think Scarlett should be able to be stopped here, but this is nice. Going for a Zergling counterattack. There's not as many roaches here to defend against this, and if she... if Scarlett loses a couple of workers, I think then maybe TooDming can try to pull this back.
Yeah,
but look at the roaches in her main. You know
exactly.
What? He can't stop this.
Scarlett can snipe the roach warren of TooDming as well. That is very smart. So right now,
this should be over.
Yeah, it's nothing but Zerglings for TooDming, and he's gonna pull the drones, trying to hang in there. But Scarlett has done such a phenomenal job in putting her roaches in really good positions all along. That was a very difficult hold. But in the end, I think he's been able to do it. He snipes his third base of TooDming. TooDming really should have taken out this base from Scarlett a lot quicker. And then he could have just used everything to defend. And I think there would have been a world where he would have been able to hang in there and trade evenly.
Yeah, I think without that Roach Warren too, like you start to look, TooDming's money's banking up.
Yeah.
He's actually going to try to catch some of these forces of Scarlett out of position, but I think no matter what happens, Scarlett's Roaches should still be able to trade.
There's
because,
+1 attack on these Roaches of TooDming as well, but
yeah,
especially
but
with the
+2, man, against the Lings.
And it's just the macro potential of Scarlett now, with the more Roaches streaming in. She will end up losing a couple of them, but she's still up 20-30 supplies. She has this base up and running, and that is so important. And she's still up 10 drones as well.
Yeah, so TooDming kicks off that +2 upgrade. I guess tiny things to note is that, yeah, he's had +1 Carapace for his Roaches as well because of the opening that he chose. However, I think his +2 is going to be so much later that Scarlett should still be able to have the upgrade even things out, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Like, they'll both be 2-1 around the same time, but Scarlett will have that +1 Carapace a little bit faster than TooDming will have his +2 attack. And, of course, Scarlett has a third base.
What an explosive day this has been. Every single game has been nuts. Not a single game so far has been boring. Not a single game we saw two players going for a similar playstyle or even like similar execution of their builds. It's been all over the place so far today in WCS America, but that makes it fun. Just continues with everything that we have seen so far in the previous groups.
Yeah, this match, man. Already in game number 1, this has been a really crazy matchup to watch.
I mean, I'm surprised that TooDming is actually having more Roaches now than Scarlett. Scarlett is 15 workers ahead. Scarlett really needs to squeeze out nothing but Roaches from this point on. And then I think she's going to be more than fine. But she needs a few more units because army supplies, actually, it's super even now. Of course, defender's advantage should be good enough. Right now, Scarlett still has better upgrades as well. They definitely prefer the +2 Roaches over the 1-1. And +1 armor is about to finish up as well. TooDming knows that time was ticking for him, and I think he committed that to an attack that he didn't really... I mean, I guess he had no choice. He was so far down economically that he had to try to make something happen. But Scarlett had enough Roaches to fight him off for now.
Yeah, at this point with Scarlett's economic lead, she should just be able to snowball this game into maxing out on Roaches faster, building up a bank, and if she wants to trade Roach versus Roach, yeah, that's okay, but look at this. As soon as she finishes that +1 Carapace, she goes straight for +2, so she's already building upon the upgrade advantage she had prior, as TooDming is still waiting for that +2 attack to complete.
Yep. It's really hard to, you know, when you're playing a mirror matchup and you're doing the exact same thing as your opponent is, but your opponent already had more when you started doing what you're doing, and above all, your opponent is also working off a better economy. Actually, I'm really surprised that a couple of Roaches were misread there. TooDming is going to go for a counterattack instead. He needs to do something. He wants to buy some time. It is an A for effort, but I think Scarlett is too good to take a lot of damage from just a few Roaches here and there.
Yeah, and the Roaches are running around like I guess they get some scouting information. If Scarlett was building a Hydralisk den, TooDming might know now, but even then I still don't... I can't think of a thing that he could do to punish that.
Nope. This is the first time that the action has slowed down a little bit, and of course, you know, for Scarlett, you might say you'd rather be safe than sorry, right? When you're ahead in the ZvZ, there's no need to throw your lead away. She's going to pick off a few more Roaches over here on the left top side of the map as well. Not sure if she's been active with WCS. She actually doesn't have a single one, so she doesn't know. Perhaps he is not sure that if she's truly as far ahead as we know she is, but normally Scarlett has such good game sense that I think she knows. And I think she's maxed out now, Nate. That's always a good moment to test the waters and see how much work you can do. The Roach count is 65 for Scarlett against 43 Roaches of TooDming.
This is a nuts amount of Roaches. Scarlett is going to move in. She's got the numbers advantage. More Roaches are immediately going to get queued up to follow behind this. And TooDming's supply is plummeting, Roddy. Hydralisk Den for Scarlett to follow things up. Fourth base, GG. Game number 1 will go to our Acer Zerg player. And what an explosive way for this series to start with that super mega crazy heavy Zergling attack.
Yeah, and what a phenomenal hold by Scarlett. This is really not an easy map to defend strategies like that. And even though initially it's really weird because everything played out so different. Like these two builds going up against each other, it would have been interesting regardless because then Scarlett can hold her ramp easily. But then she can defend her third base, so you would have to make a decision as a Zerg player. Instead, we actually saw Scarlett testing the waters with her roaches as soon as he had the upgrades. And then TooDming had all these Zerglings, but his upgrades weren't ready yet, while normally it's a dream scenario to just pick off 11 roaches in the middle of the map when you go up to 78 links. But he was actually forced to take the fight a little quicker than he would have liked to. And then Scarlett also still managed to squeeze a couple of roaches next to the extractor. So obviously these roaches were going to die, but not before killing a whole lot more Zerglings than they would normally would. So it was such a crazy opening, such a bizarre game. And then for 2 minutes straight, nothing but Zerglings made their way over to the other side of the map. But in the end, Scarlett was able to defend without losing her third base. That's, of course, the most important thing.
I think that game becomes, like, you can change how everything in that map just played out if Scarlett hits that attack 15 seconds later and the 1-1 is done.
Then she loses 11 roaches and kills
she killed
nothing.
Like maybe 30, 40 Zerglings right before that upgrade completed. And then we saw that even though he lost so many Zerglings, once those upgrades were done, he annihilated the roaches.
And he still had a lot of Zerglings. So imagine that attack, but then at least additional 20 Zerglings. I really think that's how much of a difference it would have made if those upgrades were ready. And of course, above all, I do think a small mistake by TooDming is he should have never let these roaches funnel through and get close to the extractor. They were exposed. They were in the middle of this alley on the right side of the map. Just swarm it immediately. And yeah, obviously you would love to wait for your upgrades, but that was no choice. But you rather fight them in the middle of the map, being down in upgrades, than seeing them tucked away in a corner. And even if you have the upgrade advantage, then you still don't have a whole lot of surface area. For links, it is really important that you have as many links as possible attacking a roach, and obviously not just 1 or 2 at a time. Either way, game number 2 is live. It is going to be played on King Sejong Station. You are watching WCS America Premier League round of 32 Group F, and today has been crazy.
Yeah, we've really enjoyed. I think the games so far, things have been a little bit nuts. I'm still waiting for the wheel of cheese to begin spinning. As
this
we
is
know,
a map
both of these
where
players could do it. Scarlett especially, of course, I guess.
Yep, of course, Ace's Scarlett is our blue Zerg, spawning on the left top side of King Sejong. And we know that she loves her 9 pool openings. Just cancel the hatch on the other side of the map and then just expand on your own and you'll be fine. We've also seen her mess around a lot with Mutalisk. We've seen a lot of her ZvZ lately. Her ZvZ looks better than, in my opinion, it ever did. She's had a lot of good victories. And just to put things in perspective as well, guys. Now, Sen is getting all the love in the world for winning the tournament in Taiwan. He defeated Qian in the final. That is fantastic. But Scarlett actually defeated Sen in her WCS America Challenger match. While in the season before she dropped out of Challenger after losing in ZvZ Series 03. This time she defeated Sen. Those ZvZs were really good too, but it was awesome to see her play so well. We saw her play in a Battlegrounds qualifier. She defeated Suppy 3-0. We saw her defeat Violet in one of the Battlegrounds as well. We've seen a lot of her ZvZ, and her ZvZ just looks really solid.
Yeah, Scarlett has seriously stepped up her game, but this guy has still has the potential, I think. I'd even go so far as to say, just like the first series, I don't expect this to be a 2-0. He still played very well, and he could very easily bring this match back to a 1-1 in the bottom right. Representing Zenith of Origins, he is TooDming.
Scarlett was the overwhelming favorite in this group, according to all the people out there that play ESL Fantasy, which I'm a little bit surprised by. I mean, I can dig it, and I think I chose Scarlett as well, but this is still a very hard group to go. Actually, I think I picked hard. I'm not sure.
I think I picked hard.
Yeah, this is a really hard one to pick, but I think I went with hard because hard's ZvZ is so good. Of course, Scarlett, her ZvZ is amazing as well. Here we can take a look at all the statistics. So 66% of all you folks at home think Scarlett is going to win this group. 26% went with hard, 4% went with TooDming, and only 3.2% went with the former GSL champion. And that is C. That is surprising as well, Nate. I like this move by Scarlett. She's going to drop a Spore Crawl in the back of her base. By the time this Overlord is going to see it, she will reposition her Spore. It's going to burrow or root right below this Overlord, and we'll still get a couple of shots off and kill it. Whoop, there you go. This was used a lot in the Taiwan Open, as there were quite a few ZvZs played there.
This has just been happening more and more in the last year, man.
Yep. Solar did it as well, right?
Yeah.
You know, but that was a different one. He just like
That
made
crazy.
a temple.
Yeah,
This damage
crazy,
is
man.
so unreal.
There is a, you know, on this map, who was it? Was it Sen? Somebody did it. It was Sen or Ian that did it on this map. Like, you move that spore out, and then people have actually tried to use, like, big, like, crazy pushes off 2 bases with that spore up front. I don't know. I've seen some weird stuff, man.
You've seen it.
I don't think I've seen it. I like to think sometimes I've seen it all, and then we see games like that merry-go-round game from the last series. And
Nate is like, Nate is one of these guys that like made the journey all the way over here to cast StarCraft non-stop from Scranton, and then like in 3 years he just comes back all traumatized to Scranton. And like, Nate, are you okay? And it's like, I've seen some crazy stuff.
What happened
over
out there in California? It's like, I've seen some stuff, man.
I've seen things that I'd rather forget about. What was it about? ZvZ. What does that mean?
You wouldn't understand.
No, I don't even know where to start. Just like a really, really sad Nate.
Scarred by all
14
this.
slow Zerglings are being produced now for TooDming. That's an interesting amount of Zerglings because there's no speed, there's no gas. What is he gonna do with all these links, Nate? I'm actually like really confused about this.
TooDming seems to really like these heavy 2-base fake out builds into mass ling.
What is this?
Impression of.
He just went up to 30 slow Zerglings. Does he think he has speed?
Well, he started speed now. He's got a lot of time to build lings in that case.
Oh my god. If he's gonna build links all this time, that is actually ridiculous. But Scarlett sees the spawning pool. She will know when speed is ready as well. Of course, Scarlett on the other side of the map is doing things that are a little bit more in the line of expectation. You get an evolution chamber, you get a roach one.
She's doing things that make sense,
yes.
buddy.
She's doing things that we have seen before.
But this...
Look at this little Zergling scout. This is so important. Super, super important. If Scarlett can check this debris...
She'd be like, why are you breaking down them rocks, huh?
Yeah.
What do you want? You trying to go out the back door so I don't catch you?
Such a good little scout for Scarlett. Really, really, really important scout. I think Scarlett's already going to save up larva, and she's going to build nothing but roaches. Scarlett is on 47 unit drones anyway, so that is a perfectly fine amount to start producing roaches. Here are all the Zerglings. Even when speed is halfway done, TooDming will already reveal his hand. It's 60 Zerglings against 1 right now, but there will be a Sim City. There are a lot of roaches on the way. Nate, will the Zerglings be able to break through? Well, actually, they can just squeeze in.
The Zerglings slip through. TooDming's actually able to get in.
Slow
now,
Zerglings.
There are some roaches finishing up. A lot of the Zerglings have not been able to penetrate the natural, but with this many slow Zerglings, this is like some sort of campaign mission,
yeah, but
dude.
Like, there's just almost no surface area for them to attack, and there will be nothing but roaches spawning soon for Scarlett. I'm really liking Scarlett's position. I think she's going to be more than fine.
I think TooDming, it would have been much better off if he was able to get more of his Zerglings into that crack on the right side. Like,
or maybe just actually ignore all this and just run to the main base and work on everything over there or something.
That also might have done the trick.
This just backfired, and I think if I know Scarlett, she probably has like a huge smile on her face.
It's like, well, I think I'm gonna end up having a. She's like, well, what ZvT builds do I like today?
TooDming just lost 52 units over there. Scarlett has lost 6 units grand total. I think.
That resources lost tab, man.
Yep. And I mean, this is not even like that crazy, but when you were doing this off 28 drones, it's pretty crazy. Then it's pretty bad. So Scarlett is marching across the map. She's like, all right, +1 missile attacks finishing up soon. There are quite a few Zerglings over here. This might be an okay surround for TooDming. He might be able to trade reasonable over here.
Yeah, actually, TooDming's really lucky that +1 wasn't done yet on the roaches because I think if +1's done, then all these Zerglings die and perhaps TooDming straight up dies. But now he's bought himself a little bit more time. That +1 is done now.
Yep, there's still quite a few roaches out. A lot of drones on the production tab for TooDming. He seems to think that he's out of the woods, and he's actually not. There are 17 roaches on the map. And if Scarlett decides to march across the map with all of her 17 roaches, you know you're in trouble in the ZvZ, Nate, when your opponent has more roaches than you have Zerglings and you don't have roaches on your own.
Yeah, that's...
Even if your Zerglings are 3-3, then you're still in trouble.
That's bad.
Yep.
So these Zerglings are going to come up. They got the surround on these roaches. Queens are throwing the transfuses. It's going to pick off these Zerglings, but, I mean, the Queens... Even they can't hold on to this. The the roach is going to get on top of the drones, retreating to that natural, but there's not even a wall. There's nowhere to hide, no spines. GG, Scarlett takes a 2-0 victory over TooDming, and she's She's looking pretty damn sharp today, Roddy.
Yep, her ZvZ just stays on point. Strong series from Scarlett. Game number 1 was definitely very tough and a hard-fought victory. Game number 2, Scarlett, you can just almost imagine her. If this is a LAN event and there is like some GoPro faced on her, then she's probably just like cracking a smile when she's killing all these Zerglings. You know how she would do that, because it's just like, well, that really didn't make a lot of sense in my mind. And she had the queens, of course, in a good position. The Zerglings did stream in, but yeah, crazy build by TooDming. How would this work? Well, this would work if Scarlett starts building roaches on 55 drones instead of 47. We could take another look at this, but this was surprisingly easy for Scarlett.
Yeah, so a good amount of the Zerglings going on the right side, but look how many of them are just dancing back and forth in front of those queens. Like, they can't do anything. There's such little area to work with, and even then, the Zerglings, the roaches, the queens, like, they just did way more than I think they really should have. Like, TooDming did not get anywhere near what he was looking for. I mean, killed 6 units, we saw.
And by the time that the Zergling speech finished stopped, most of the Zerglings were dead already. And I think the most ironic situation of that entire attack is that all the queens were still alive, still healthy, still chilling, still picking up Zerglings. So very comfortable hold there for Scarlett. And she's able to pick up the first series of the day, 2-0. But this is still a very stacked group. So all Scarlett fans out there, don't think that she's going to do it, that she's there already. There's a good chance that she will advance to the round of 16 for the first time this year. But it's not going to be easy, because in the winners match later today, Scarlett is going up against Hart. And Nate, how can you not get excited over a Scarlett versus Hart? Hart's TvZ is...
Hart played some of the greatest TvZ that we've seen this year, I think, in last season's WCS. If you guys missed his match versus Shigua on Frost, you go back and watch it, because it's one of the most nuts things that you're going to see. You're going to be that Terran player. I'm a Terran player. When I watched that game, his control picking off like the 4 banelings that should have... He lost the game, like, but he somehow he reverse engineered the losing script and made it that he just somehow didn't die. Like, it was actually nuts.
If you guys have seen MVP versus T-Fault, it's pretty much the WCS America version of it, but perhaps even worse.
Well, we expect stuff like that from MVP. Hart, I was not expecting that level.
And even like the games that he played against Jaedong, even the games against Sean, even if he ends up losing, he often, like, his crisis management, all the hot pickups. I am super stoked for this TvZ. This is one of those TvZs that you want to tell your friends around the world. Hashtag WCS. As a great TvZ is coming, but not before. Of course, we are going to do our lower bracket match first, and that should be a really good one as well. It is going to be between TooDming and Seed. The loser is out of WCS for this year. The winner will advance and still have a chance to make it to the round of 16. So we're going to head over to a very small break, and after that we'll be back with a ZVP, and after that an amazing TvZ. So stay tuned. You are watching WCS America Premier League.